All right, welcome to your nutrition talk of Tuesday morning. Today, we're actually going to talk about your gut and how it relates to you seeing progress in and outside of the gym, in and outside of your nutrition, and how it affects your overall health. So I want to open this up with a question. When I say gut health, what does that mean? You can put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself. What does it mean?
The good and bad bacteria inside of your intestines and stomach.
Yep. That's one explanation. What else?
Proper digestion and utilization of the food that you eat.
Yeah. And there's actually going to be one more that you probably won't think about because I didn't think about it either until I started reading this book. But there's one more explanation for gut health and how it relates to your body. I want you to think outside.
Mental health.
Mental health. Yes, Amber. Yes. Oh, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about that today because I'm learning so much. And it makes so much sense with what people go through. Now, getting into gut health specifically, how much of the US population, percentage-wise, struggles with gut health-related issues? Throw out a number. Put it in the chat. What do you think? Percentage?
I would say
65.
70.
Ooh, I heard 65. Jamie, did you say 65?
Yeah.
And Melissa, you said 70?
80.
So Melissa is correct. 70% have gut health related issues. What percentage of people seek help for their gut issues out of that 70%?
Like maybe 10%.
10%?
25.
25? 20, 15? I would say it's in between 20 and 25% of that 70% actually go seek help. Why do you think that is?
Because they don't realize how important gut health is. Like they don't know that that's what's wrong with them. They think it's something else.
Or they think it's normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Why don't those people go seek help?
It's expensive.
It's very expensive.
Embarrassing if you don't want to talk about it.
Embarrassing because you don't want to talk about it. Melissa, I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing, but you've had a lot of experience in this department. What kind of things have you experienced when you go and ask for help?
Yeah, so I've been to a lot of people to try to get help, and Katie's like the first one that actually will listen and try to help. And so I have diverticulitis. I've been hospitalized 4 times now, and now I have a gastroenterologist that they're talking about possibly cutting out my intestines. I don't want to do that, but I have noticed that over the last few months since working with Katie and Hidden Summit, that now that I've cut out the junk food, I definitely think I probably had leaky gut because my mental health is way better. Obviously, all the work that we're doing in the gym and with this group is helped, but I also think cutting out the I can't have any bubbles. Like I can't have carbonation. I can't have anything with like seeds or nuts or anything with garlic or onion. And that's literally garlic and onion and preservatives are in almost everything. So I have a very, very strict diet of what I can have. And if I don't, I'll end up in the hospital. And I obviously notice it with my mental health as well. So it's been a struggle, but I would like to try to fix it without getting my intestines removed. But unfortunately, I think I've done too much damage over the years of being too overweight and eating too much junk food. And now the time has come that I just hope that I don't have to go on a colostomy bag, but they have to decide how many feet they have to take out.
Oh, I really hope that doesn't happen. I hope we can continue fixing the problem.
On the plus side, my dad did have that surgery. And after following instructions for me, taking his vitamins, taking his greens, taking his reds, he's actually reversed a lot of the damage that happened. So, but there is light at the end of the tunnel if that does have to happen to you.
That's good. That's good. That gives me hope, and hopefully it gives you hope, Melissa. I love the fact that you brought up mental health, because I think you guys would actually benefit from reading this book. It's called Mind Gut Connection, and it is written by a medical doctor who is a gastroenterologist. And he talks specifically about the connection between our brain and our gut. And it is so interesting because so many people, one, that 70% of people who have gut health problems don't actually know that they have problems, right? A lot of those people could have mental health issues, whether it's depression, anxiety, really high levels of stress and things like that. And it can actually be a gut health problem. It could be their gut microbiome is so unhealthy that it's causing those mental health issues as well, because those two things correlate so much together. And so, I've been working with a few people who do have these problems as far as mental health struggles go, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, even my husband. Like, I was reading the book last night and I looked at him, I'm like, this is you need to read it, because he gets so anxious and so worried about everything that it directly affects his gut, whether it's, he gets constipated or has diarrhea. I'm kind of throwing him under the bus. He'll be fine. He still loves me. But I want you guys to understand that these two things, correspond with each other. And, when it comes to, maybe those gut health symptoms, what are some symptoms that somebody could experience to make you think that they have a gut health problem, whether it's yourself or somebody else? What are some symptoms? Throw them in the chat. Depression and anxiety. Yep. What else? Changes in bowels, reflux, anger issues. Sleep, skin issues. Yes. Keep going. Nausea and vomiting. Oh, Jessica, I'm so excited you brought this up. So in the book that I was reading last night, there was a patient who had cyclical vomiting syndrome. Has anyone heard of that before? So it is
all the time.
All the time. You do, Jessica?
Yeah, because I see patients with that in the hospital, and it's kind of frustrating because they don't listen to what they have to do to stop it. And they just continue coming to the hospital like every week.
So may I ask what the protocol is for helping someone with cyclical vomiting syndrome in your facility? Is that something you can share?
We just treat it with antiemetics, which is like nausea, vomiting medications, and antacids. A medication called Reglan, which is more for motility of the stomach and like better digestion, so that improves the nausea and the vomiting. Sometimes they even treat it with one antibiotic called azithromycin that also helps with the motility. But yeah, basically drugs. But I actually take the time, a lot of the times to talk to them, and see what they're doing and what they're eating and all these things. And I try to teach them, but it's kind of difficult because people just don't have any idea of, they refuse to believe that what they're eating is what is causing this, or, sometimes drugs that they do also cause this. So, and they refuse to quit it. So,
well, and on that topics, still talking about the cyclical vomiting syndrome that I was reading last night, a lot of facilities do treat it with drugs, like you said, Jessica, like antibiotics and different nausea and vomiting medications to help suppress those symptoms. When what this doctor was talking about inside the book is that it's actually a brain problem, because most people who suffer from this syndrome, their stress, their cortisol gets so high that their brain then sends signals to their gut, and that's what causes these symptoms. And cyclical vomiting syndrome is actually kind of rare. It doesn't usually get that intense in a lot of people, but if it does, it's usually a brain issue and a gut microbiome issue. And that's what we're going to kind of get into today as far as it relates to your health and fitness goals. So on that note, when it comes to gut health and having a healthy gut, how do you think that's going to affect your progress in the gym and with your health and fitness goals?
Motivation, because I don't want to go if I don't feel good.
Motivation.
Or like you don't have as much endurance or strength, maybe. It's like going in, not feeling well.
Yeah. When was the last time you wanted to work out on an upset stomach? Nobody wants to do that. You feel bloated, you feel constipated, you've got the runs. Nobody wants to go to the gym. So you skip workouts until you feel better, but you don't know what to do to make you feel better. What else? How else can it affect your progress? We're talking about a lot of, negative and positive things. So what are some, if your gut health is not healthy, how can it negatively affect your progress? Let's start there.
Well,
I
it
don't
makes
think
you
you
feel
eat right.
bloated. Oh,
Ooh, let's do AJ first, and then we'll do Melissa.
I just said I don't think you don't eat properly. If you don't feel good, you don't want to eat, or you eat the wrong things because maybe it sits a little better, or it affects how I eat if I have a issue going on.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Melissa?
so before working with you, I would have just felt like, oh, I didn't really realize it was maybe bloat. I would have just assumed that I gained weight back that week, even though I thought I was doing everything right. So if you feel like you're putting in so much effort and so much work and then you're not getting the results, then you kind of go back to your old habits. But then since doing this and sticking with the program and trusting it, knowing that some weeks your stomach is just going to be bloated, but it's not necessarily fat, then you can kind of help understand, like mentally try to fight through that. And then at the end of the week, I'm surprised. Sometimes it's like, I feel like I'm really up, but like up in weight, but I'm actually down. So knowing that now kind of helps get through it. But I think in the past, I would have just chalked it off as it's not working and then gone back to the bad food and then felt like shit and then repeated the cycle and yo-yo again.
Do you see how Melissa just brought in the mental aspect and the gut aspect into all of that? Because it's related. Oh, our bodies are so cool. It's so exciting. So okay, let's talk about if 70% of the US population has gut issues, that we are pretty safe to say that maybe we don't have perfect guts. I know for sure I don't. I know Eric doesn't. We all don't. Like there's no first of all, there's no such thing as perfect. But we all do our best to increase the good bacteria inside of our gut so we can have all of those benefits. Focusing on that, you'll have an increase, like Kelly was saying, in absorption and utilization of the foods that we eat. You'll have better hormone production because a lot of your hormones are produced inside the gut, like serotonin. 90% of serotonin is produced inside your gut. Serotonin is your feel-good, happy hormone. It's what affects your happiness and your mood. Serotonin is also a precursor to melatonin. Melatonin is what helps you sleep and get better sleep. So if your gut is on the healthier side, you're going to have a better production in serotonin, which means you're going to have better sleep. When you have better sleep, you recover better. Your digestion is better. Your workouts are better. You're just overall seeing those benefits. Now, what was I going to say? Now, when it comes to making your gut healthier, there's two different groups of foods that can help with that. Now, if you've been on these nutrition talks before, you should know what those are. So I would like to hear from somebody who is new that doesn't maybe know or would like to take a stab at what two food groups can help with gut health.
Fermentation.
Fermentation, yep, fermented foods, that's one. There's one more. We'll get into fiber. There's another food group. Tanya, yes, tropical fruits. So let's break those down. Tropical fruits, why is that going to help your gut? Well, because tropical fruits contain digestive enzymes. Digestive enzymes should be pretty self-explanatory. They help your body break down food. You need digestive enzymes to break down proteins, carbs, and fats, okay? What those tropical fruits contain, so those are going to be things like pineapple, papaya, mango, things like that. It contains a digestive enzyme called protease, which helps break down protein. So Dawn, you asked a question, increasing my protein, is that going to make me feel bloated and constipated? Well, yeah, if you've gone this whole entire time without eating as much protein as we're having you eating, your body is not used to producing those digestive enzymes to help break down protein. So in the beginning, yes, it can affect your gut in a way to make you a little bit more bloated, maybe a little bit more constipated. And that's when we start focusing on those digestive enzymes and your overall gut health to help your body break down that protein. Now, if your body is not able to break down the protein, what do you think is going to happen? If
You won't utilize the protein at all.
Thank you.
If it's not breaking it down.
Right. And so if your body's unable to utilize protein, then what?
My muscles won't grow.
Your muscles won't grow. And if your muscles won't grow, then what?
I look like a deflated balloon.
Yeah, you look like a deflated balloon. It goes back to our protein call, right? The more protein you eat, the more muscle tissue you preserve and build. If you do that, your metabolism increases. When your metabolism increases, your body starts to burn more fat. But it all goes back to, is your body able to actually absorb and utilize the nutrients from the protein? And it starts with the breakdown of it, digestive enzymes, so to speak. All right. So getting in tropical fruits will help with that. Now, how many servings of tropical fruits do you think you have to have every day on a consistent basis to help with this? Five to seven.
I thought it was like 3 or 4 of tropical fruits.
I was going to say
Were you going to say, Audrey?
6 to 8.
So y'all are overachievers, which is great. I mean, if you want to go for that, do it, but it is 2 to 3 servings every single day of tropical fruits to help with your body and producing those digestive enzymes to help break down your food, because you are what you eat, but you actually are what you can absorb and utilize and break down. Okay. 5 to 7 servings is for fruits and vegetables. So different fruits like berries, bananas, apples, oranges, the citrusy fruits and vegetables, obviously all your green ones, red, yellow ones, basically eat the rainbow throughout the day. Now, when it comes to fermented foods, what do you guys think qualifies as fermented foods?
Like sourdough bread, kimchi, anything like that's been sitting in a jar fermenting and creating its own prebiotics or it's one of those.
Probiotics, yep.
Yeah.
Greek yogurt.
Greek yogurt,
Sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut, Yeah, you guys lifted off a lot of them. Kelly says tempeh, so that's definitely a vegan option. that she uses on a consistent basis. That's a fermented food, absolutely. So yeah, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, yogurt, kombucha, all of those things are going to be fermented. Now, when we say fermented, yes, it's been sitting and getting in those, you know, and producing those probiotics. What are probiotics? Put it in the chat or unmute yourself.
Healthy
Good
gut.
bacteria. Yes. Yes. Probiotics are good bacteria that your gut needs to function the way it's supposed to help absorb the nutrients from the foods that you eat. Now, how many servings of fermented foods do you need to have on a daily consistent basis for the rest of forever? Kelly says 3. It's the same serving size as the tropical fruits, 2 to 3 servings, okay? Now, who here is going to eat 2 to 3 servings of tropical fruits and fermented foods every day for the rest of their life? Nobody's hand is up. Yeah, me neither. One, I don't like kefir or kimchi or kombucha or tempeh, or like the only fermented thing that I like is like sauerkraut and yogurt. And even then, like I've cut out dairy, so yogurt's out of the game for me. So that leaves me with sauerkraut. How many times do you think I buy sauerkraut from the store? 0. Nope, won't do it. Tropical fruits. I'm allergic to pineapple, and mangoes are hardly ever in season, or if they are, I never get to the store to get them. And dragon fruits are disgusting. They have no flavor whatsoever. And papaya, like I can honestly say I've never had a papaya. So, you know, Eric, do you get in tropical fruits and fermented foods every day?
I do. Probably not enough each day, but that's why I fill my gap with, you know, some Octagreens. But every day I try to get in something every single day.
You do a lot of pickled slaw, which I love.
Yep, I do that. And fruit wise, I do have a lot of pineapple.
I'm jealous.
It's a natural anti-inflammatory too, so it's one of the main reasons why I even eat it.
Yeah, when I was working for the chiropractor back in the day, and someone would get in a car accident or have like a really big procedure done, we would always tell them to increase their fish oils and to have fresh pineapple because it reduces inflammation. So yeah, Eric's absolutely right with that. So if you do not prioritize getting in 2 to 3 servings of tropical fruits and fermented foods, it goes back to the gut health issues that you may experience, even if you're asymptomatic, okay? It affects your mood, it affects your sleep, your energy, your hormones. You're not gonna lose fat as fast. You're not going to build muscle as fast because again, your gut is basically the center for all of this. If you're not able to break down, absorb, and utilize from the nutrients from the foods that you're eating, what's the point of eating? Especially all the protein that we have you guys eat. Like if that is what's going to lead you to gain muscle, burn fat, get lean and toned, look sexy in your bikini this summer, we want to make sure that we're covering all of our bases so that we get the best results we possibly can. Would everyone agree? Hands up. Do you guys have any questions at all before moving on to what I have next? No questions? Great. All right. So listen, we're always a whole food first company. We want you guys to eat whole foods primarily and not rely on supplements. However, none of us threw up our hands saying we're going to eat 2 to 3 servings of tropical fruits and fermented foods on a daily consistent basis. So in this case, I absolutely want you guys to try. However, this is where filling the gap comes in. And this is where we rely on supplements, okay? Supplements are there to fill in the gaps. Supplements are supplements. They're not there to replace nutrition. They are truly there to cover all of your bases so that we are making sure your body is doing what we want it to. So in this case, what we recommend as far as filling in the gap goes is Octagreens 50. Octagreens 50 is the superfood greens powder that First Form has produced, and it has 50 hand-picked chosen ingredients, all grown in North America, to make it Octagreens 50, hence the name, all right? You're gonna have 5 different blends. However, the 2 blends I want to focus on the most is the plant enzyme blend, your digestive enzymes that we talked about, that covers your 2 to 3 servings of your tropical fruits, and the probiotic blend, which covers the fermented foods. Okay, if you go out and you look at other greens, it usually just has vegetables. It doesn't have digestive enzymes or probiotics in it. It's missing that piece. So what Octagreens 50 are those 2 blends, and it's also low temperature processed, just like everything else that they make. Why is low temperature process so important?
Doesn't destroy all the nutrients.
Oh man, there were 3 people. Okay, Kelly said doesn't destroy all the nutrients. Sandra, what did you say?
I literally said the same. I just said doesn't destroy.
Audrey, did you say the same thing? Yeah, so low temperature processing means that it is more bioavailable than something that is not low temperature processed, okay? If you have 2 different greens next to, or I'm sorry, 2 different greens, one is Octagreens 50 and the other one is you bought from Walmart, let's just say, you open the container, usually Octagreens 50 is gonna be a more green one because it's low temperature processed. Those ingredients are very clean in quality, non-GMO, no synthetic colors or preservatives. It's very, very clean. The recommended amount for Octagreens 50 is 2 scoops a day. I like to have mine before I go to bed. This is something that I've been taking for the last 3 years because for me personally, I destroyed my gut health in high school when I had my eating disorder. I totally destroyed my gut microbiome. Also, who here is a C-section baby? Jamie is a C-section baby. Everyone was born naturally? Wow, that's nice. Good for you guys. Fun fact, C-section babies tend to have a unhealthy gut microbiome because they are not introduced to the gut bacteria inside the vaginal canal from their mom. They're introduced to the bacteria in the hospital, like Staphylococcus and other things like that. They're missing lactobacillus, which is the most, what am I trying to say? Resilient bacteria against the gut. And that is something that is also in Octagreens 50 is lactobacillus, DDS1. And what that does is your stomach produces a lot of bile and acidity to help break down the food, but we want to make sure that those probiotics, those gut bacteria can get past that and into our system to make sure that we're able to absorb and utilize the foods that we eat. Does that make sense to you guys? Cool. What questions do you have on Octagreens 50?
Are they okay to give to your kids? I should have probably asked before. I started swiping it in their smoothies because I've been making them smoothies every day and giving them like a half of a scoop. And they actually seem happier and are sleeping better. So I'm like, maybe I should have asked, but they seem fine.
I honestly think that's okay. Like, and especially since you've noticed those positive effects, like I would say keep doing it. And I like the fact that you just gave them like half. I would say that's fine. First Form also has an Octi Kids product. So basically it's the child version of Octagreens with a little bit more protein into it as well. That can help with children. But I mean, more cost efficient, y'all are going to use greens. So I would say just do that. Eric, am I missing anything on greens that you would like to cover?
The big thing that I like to cover with the greens is my favorite component that's in it is the part in it that helps our body digest carbs more slowly. Now, this doesn't give you like the free reign to just eat whatever carbs you want. They're like, oh, if I take my greens, I'm fine. No, like the big thing that it's doing, it's help us stopping those big peaks and falls in our day, so our energy levels more steady throughout the day. And that's one of the big reasons that I really enjoyed, is because it helps keep my blood sugar in check the whole time. I'm not, leaning on caffeine as much. Like when I first got a hold of the product years ago, that was the biggest thing that I noticed, is that I just didn't need that anymore. Like, and if I felt like I kind of needed that, I was like, oh, I'll just toss down a half a serving real quick in the middle of the day. And it was a real easy fix for me to like not have to lean into caffeine as much as well.
Yeah, I totally love that. Eric is spot on.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
With that, Eric, do you usually take yours in the morning then? And then you notice that? And if you're feeling, because I've been taking mine at night, but like.
I used to be a morning taker, and then I had changed it because one of the big things that I noticed, that when I took it at night, my heart rate would go up on wearing my Whoop. So I had data after data after data of like when I took it for like the next 15 or 20 minutes, it was like my heart rate kind of elevated before I actually went to bed. And like according to my Whoop, like my latency, which is like time to fall asleep, is like literally doesn't register on there. I'm the kind of person that can lay down and fall asleep. But I noticed that like for the first 20 minutes of my sleep, my heart rate was elevated. I think this just came down to the actual digestion of that product. So I kind of started taking it earlier in the evening, but I take it in the evening, like after everything, just because I found it to be a little easier on my stomach. Like when I would go into the gym and easier, it was just one less thing that wasn't in my stomach bother me. So I always have mine at the end of the day.
Who here takes Octagreens already? Who would like to share what you've noticed by taking it?
I will. My bloating is like completely gone. And you know what my bloating was like because I sent you videos. It's like crazy. It's pretty much gone.
Yeah. So exciting.
It is.
The bloating is a big one for a lot of people. And, this is for the women, especially around your cycle. I would highly recommend having, increasing the amount of greens that you have, or, getting in more tropical fruits and fermented foods during that time to help with the inflammation and the bloating inside your gut that happens around your cycle. And that will keep your bloating at bay for the most part. But there's been so many times where, like, let's just say I eat something I might not should be eating, or I have a bigger meal and something just doesn't sit well. And I'm so bloated. I look like 10 weeks pregnant. All right. I will take my greens right then and there. And within 45 minutes, my bloating is back down to nothing. It's insane how it works. Who else wants to share?
So I'll piggyback off that. I've actually noticed like a decrease in my cramping around my menstrual cycle when I like pretty much double my greens the week before and during. And I don't have near as much like side effects when it comes to menstrual cramps, bloating. It just like completely goes away if I'm regular on them.
Love it. Anyone else? And then Brandon, I see your question. Well, thanks for sharing on Octagreens. I love it. Brandon, what protein powder are you referring to? It's all good. Just put it in the chat. Regular first form vanilla vegan Power Pro with ignition. So it's the ignition that has the sugar. Kelly, how much carbs does vegan Power Pro have? I don't take it, but you do.
I think like 46 grams or something for the whole scoop.
A vegan
Let me
Power
look, because
Pro?
I just logged it. Oh, you said ignition. I'm sorry.
How many carbs does Vegan Power Pro have?
Vegan Power Pro has 3 carbs
Okay.
for 1 scoop.
Okay. So Brandon, where you're getting that sugar from is the ignition. And if you're taking that post-workout, that's exactly what you want to happen, and what you want to have, because to keep it simple, when you're working out and training, you have 2 hormones in play, insulin and cortisol. But when you're training, your cortisol levels are elevated. It means your stress hormone, because you're putting stress on your body. And in order to bring that cortisol back down, we have to bring insulin up, because we can't be at the same level at the same time. So in order to create an insulin spike to switch your body from breaking itself down and putting stress on it to repairing and recovering, we want that insulin spike. Now, the only way to increase that insulin spike is sugar. And anytime that you have carbohydrates, you are going to get a little spike in insulin, because your body then breaks down those carbohydrates as glucose and then stores them in your muscle tissue and your liver as glycogen for later use of energy. Now, ignition is straight dexanhydrous glucose. It's the purest form of sugar that you're going to get, and it's what your body needs post-workout to help with the storage of the amino acids inside your muscle to help recover and repair them, as well as replenish your energy. So if you're taking that post-workout, that is totally fine, and you should keep doing that. As far as the sugar goes. Does that make sense, Brandon? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, as a recap, gut health is so important, not just for your mind, but for your health and fitness goals as well. When you prioritize getting in 2 to 3 servings of tropical fruits and fermented foods, you are going to notice less bloating, more energy, better hormone production, better sleep, better workouts. You're going to feel better.
Okay.
When we don't prioritize those things, you're going to notice the opposite. It's going to be harder for you to put on muscle. It's going to be harder for you to burn fat. It's going to be harder to get into the gym, because maybe your sleep is lacking, or your energy is lacking, your hormone production isn't as good. All right. All of these things play a role into your health and fitness. Now, filling in the gap comes with Octagreen's 50. We talked about that. It has 5 different blends, 2 of the most important ones being the plant enzyme blend and the probiotic blend, to help cover your bases as far as tropical fruits and fermented foods go. And that pretty much does it. So I want to know what questions, comments, or concerns that you have about gut health or Octagreens or the foods that we talked about. No questions. All right. Well, Eric, did I miss anything? Anything else you want to go over?
Off the top of my head, after hearing everything, nothing that I can really pinpoint that we think we need to touch on again or anything like that. So unless somebody has some questions about Octagreen's 50 itself, and it doesn't give you permission to not eat your vegetables. Just like we told you, it doesn't give you permission to not eat your vegetables if you're taking your vitamins.
100.
It is not a powdered vegetable supplement.
Cool. All right. Well, if you want to come back and learn more about this again, we'll be back tomorrow night at what is that? 7:30 p.m. Eastern time for another nutrition talk on gut health. Well, other than that, go out and crush the day. If you have questions on this specifically for your personal health and fitness goals, please talk to your advisor, and we can get you set up on what we think would be best for you guys. But other than that, have a great day. And if you need anything, let us know.